All right, glad to have everyone back with us. Today, we're going to take a look at a really interesting situation with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They decided to keep their offensive coordinator, Liam Coen, even though he had a chance to become a head coach somewhere else.
Yeah, at first glance, it might seem a little strange, right? You'd think a coordinator would jump at the chance to lead their own team.
For sure. Especially when you think about the Buccaneers, they weren't exactly, lighting it up before Coen got there.
No, their offense in 2023, it was rough, to put it lightly. Dead last in rushing, 23rd overall in total offense.
Oof, not good. But then Coen joins them for the 2024 season. And, well, it's like night and day. They shoot all the way up to third in total offense and fourth in rushing, like a completely different team.
Yeah, and that's exactly why the Buccaneers were so determined to keep him when the Jacksonville Jaguars came calling with that head coaching offer.
Now, before we get into why the Buccaneers fought so hard to keep Coen and what it tells us about their overall philosophy, I want to remind everyone to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these deep dives into the most interesting stories in sports.
It really is a fascinating case study in, how to recognize and prioritize what really brings success in the NFL.
Okay, so back to Coen. Head coach Todd Bowles, he really went the extra mile, went straight to ownership, pleaded with them to make sure Coen stayed in Tampa Bay. He must have seen something really special.
Absolutely. It wasn't just like a gut feeling or anything. Cohen's system, it just clicked with the Buccaneers' strengths. He saw how much potential they had in the run game, something nobody had really paid attention to before, and he built a whole offensive scheme around it.
So it wasn't just about getting a big-name coach. It was more about finding the right fit for the players they already had and helping them reach their full potential.
Exactly. It's a lesson a lot of teams seem to miss. They're always chasing the big names, the coaches with the fancy resumes, without really thinking about how that coach's style will work with the players they have.
And sometimes that leads to, well, some pretty bad results. Just look at what happened with, I don't want to name names, but you know who I'm talking about. They brought in that offensive guru, the one everyone thought was a genius, but it just didn't work. Their system didn't fit the players at all, and the whole team fell apart.
Yeah, definitely a cautionary tale. But the Buccaneers, with Bowles leading the way, they seem to get it. They understand that having consistency, a system that everyone understands, especially on offense, that can be way more valuable than just trying to copy whatever the latest trend is.
And they were willing to put their money where their mouth is, too. They made Coen one of the highest paid offensive coordinators in the whole league.
No doubt about it. It was a clear sign that they recognized how valuable Coen was and that they were serious about building a winning culture around his offensive philosophy. Yeah, it was a really smart move, and I think it shows a trend that we're seeing more and more in the NFL. Teams are starting to realize that having stability within the coaching staff, especially on offense, it can be a huge factor in their success.
But isn't there like a risk in depending too much on one coordinator? What if Coen was just, I don't know, lucky?
Yeah.
Or what if teams figure out his system and it stops working?
Those are definitely fair points, but I think Bowles is banking on Cohen's ability to, adapt and keep evolving his system. But remember, Coen is still pretty young as far as coaches go, and he's definitely hungry to keep learning and prove himself.
So instead of just jumping at the first head coaching job that comes along, he's choosing to really perfect his skills, really master his system in a stable environment.
Right, exactly. It's almost like an apprenticeship, but at the highest level of the game, he's getting incredible experience, working with a talented roster, and building a real track record of success. That's only going to make him even more attractive to teams in the future.
And for Bowles, it's got to be about more than just wins and losses. It's about building a real culture of trust and continuity within the organization.
Absolutely. He's sending a message not just to his players and staff, but to the whole league, that the Buccaneers value loyalty, commitment, and having everyone on the same page when it comes to success.
And you can't forget about the impact this has on the players. They're not having to learn a new playbook every year, deal with a bunch of new coaches coming and going. They're able to really develop within a consistent system, build chemistry with each other, and master the ins and outs of Coen's offense.
And that all adds up to more confidence and better execution on the field. It really shows how a coach's decisions, even the ones that happen behind the scenes, can have a huge ripple effect throughout the whole team.
This whole situation brings up an interesting question. Is having that continuity in the coaching staff more important than going after the big names, the coaches who everyone's talking about?
It's a question a lot of teams are wrestling with right now. The old way of of thinking, where you just go out and hire the proven head coach, usually with the big salary. It doesn't always mean you're going to win.
In fact, it can really blow up in your face. Remember what happened with, I won't say their name, but they spent a ton of money on a big-name coach a couple of seasons ago, and it was a disaster. The team struggled, and they ended up firing him after just 1 year.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that sometimes having the right fit and a team that works well together, that can be way more important than just star power. And the Buccaneers, with their decision to stick with Coen and prioritize stability, they're a perfect example of this new way of thinking.
It's definitely a bold move, and it'll be interesting to see how it works out for them in the long run. But one thing's for sure, the Buccaneers' decision to prioritize stability and show faith in their young offensive coordinator, it's got everyone in the league talking.
Yeah, and it's a great example for other teams that are trying to build lasting success in a league that's constantly changing.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder, right? Like, maybe it's not always about chasing the big names, but more about building a place where a talented coach can actually thrive and grow.
Yeah, for sure. Like recognizing potential and giving it space to develop. I think with Coen, the Buccaneers clearly think he has the potential to be a great head coach someday, but they also get that pushing him into that role too soon might not be the best for him or the team.
It's like they're saying, hey, let's win together now, and then when you're ready, we'll support you when you want to lead your own team. Makes sense.
Totally. It builds this culture of mutual respect and trust. So Coen probably feels good, right? Like he's valued, his work is appreciated, not like he's stuck as a coordinator, you know?
And that's got to be good for the Buccaneers, right? A happy coach usually means a happy team, right?
You got it. And that's what makes this whole story so interesting. It kind of flips the script, right? Usually you see that coordinator who's just itching to become a head coach. This shows that sometimes the best way to achieve that long-term success is to be patient, build that trust, and work together towards a common goal.
It's like a reminder that some of the most important decisions, they happen behind the scenes, out of the spotlight.
Yeah.
It's about laying that groundwork, building a winning culture, and prioritizing consistency over just trying to find a quick solution.
Absolutely. And speaking of important decisions, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more deep dives into these fascinating sports stories.
So as we've seen with the Buccaneers and Liam Coen, sometimes the best strategies are the ones that go against what everyone else is doing. It's about realizing the importance of stability, supporting potential, and creating an environment where everyone can succeed, both individually and as a team. It'll be really interesting to see if other teams start doing the same thing, putting more emphasis on the long game instead of just looking for that quick fix. Anyway, that's all for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.